Before the waters covered the earth and reshaped the history of humanity, the world was a very different place. Imagine a land where men lived for centuries, where the divine and the human interacted directly, and where civilization flourished without limits. But what led to this total destruction? And more importantly, what can we learn from it? If you enjoy this kind of content, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Now, let's dive into this fascinating story. Before the flood, human beings lived for hundreds of years. Methuselah, for example, reached the impressive age of 969 years. Genesis 5 verse 27. But why such long lifespans? Some scholars suggest that atmospheric and environmental conditions may have favored longevity. Others argue that God allowed extended lives so that wisdom and knowledge could be passed down without the generational barriers we have today. The relationship between the spiritual and earthly realms was more tangible than we can imagine. The biblical account speaks of the sons of God, fallen angels, who came down to earth and united with the daughters of men, giving birth to the Nephilim, beings of great stature and power. Genesis 6 verses 1 to 4. This interaction was one of the factors that led to the moral corruption of humanity. The influence of evil did not begin with mankind, but with the fall of Lucifer and his legion of angels. Satan became humanity's great adversary, tempting them into sin and leading them away from the Creator. Over time, the sinful nature of man grew, reaching its peak in the pre-flood era. Violence became the norm. When Cain killed Abel, he not only took his brother's life, but also initiated a cycle of bloodshed and iniquity that would culminate in a world where every inclination of the thoughts of the human heart was only evil all the time. Genesis 6 verse 5. Cities expanded, art and science developed, but humanity distanced itself from God. Instead of using knowledge for good, men created a society dominated by violence, idolatry, and corruption. The flood was God's response to a world beyond redemption. While most people indulged in sin, one man found favor in the eyes of God: Noah. He was instructed to build an ark to preserve his family and the animals. Many mocked his mission, but he remained faithful. Then came the rain. For 40 days and 40 nights, the waters covered the earth, destroying all life outside the ark. This event is not exclusive to the biblical tradition. Similar legends appear in various cultures, such as the Epic of Gilgamesh and Mayan accounts, suggesting that a great catastrophe left its mark on human history. Conclusion: the flood was a turning point in human history, separating the old world from the new. But what does this story teach us today? Perhaps the greatest lesson is that no matter how corrupt the world around us becomes, there is always room for those who choose righteousness and faith. Noah shows us that even in dark times, obedience and hope can lead to salvation. Did you like this content? Leave a like, share, and stay tuned for more impactful stories like this.